The door slammed so hard that the picture on the wall fell. My mother stood in the middle of the room, her hand still in the air, holding a box of homemade cookies. She had spent the entire afternoon making it. Chocolate, oats, chestnuts, his favorites. My brother was on the other side of the door, locked. "Don't you understand yet, Mother?" His voice came loud, piercing the wood. "There's no place for you here. Not at Christmas, not at home, not in our lifetime." I was 13, and at that moment, with the box of cookies shaking in my mother's hands and the sound of the door echoing in my head, I swore I would never forget that sentence, because she wasn't alone. The room was full. Aunts, cousins, neighbors. Everyone saw it, and nobody said anything. My mother slowly lowered the box. He placed it on the table near the entrance, turned to me, smiled. One of those smiles that hurt more than any scream. "Let's go home, daughter." I couldn't say anything. I just held her hand, and we left that house for the last time. Or at least, I thought it was the last. Let me back up a little, because this story didn't start that Christmas. It started much earlier, when my grandfather died and left the house to him, for my older brother, Raphael. He was 28 years old at the time. Me, just 9. My mother, 42. Raphael was always the favorite son, the man of the family, the responsible. He was the son of my father's first marriage before he met my mother. When they got married, Raphael was already a teenager. He never accepted it properly. He always treated my mother like an intruder. And when my father died, 3 years before that terrible Christmas, everything got worse. My grandfather, my father's father, owned several properties, houses, land, a store in the city center that sold building materials. The whole family lived off that, from rents, from profits. But in his will, he left almost everything to Raphael. The justification? He's the oldest man. He's going to take care of the family. For my mother, nothing, not even for me. "You already had your chance, Helena," my grandfather had said, a few months before he died, during a Sunday lunch. "I didn't know how to hold my son. He doesn't deserve anything he built." My mother didn't respond. He just got up from the table, gathered the dishes, and went to wash the dishes. I watched from the hallway, hidden behind the door, too small to understand everything, but old enough to feel injustice burning in her chest. My father had died in a car accident, coming back from work, raining heavily. Nobody was to blame, but my grandfather always blamed my mother. She said she distracted her son, that he worked too much because of us, that we were a burden. Lies. My father loved us. I remember him picking me up, laughing out loud, saying I was his princess. I remember my mother waiting for him at the window, with coffee ready, every night. But after he died, the entire family turned their backs. After my grandfather died, Raphael took over everything. The family's big house, with a huge yard and swimming pool, the store, the rents of 3 apartments in the neighboring neighborhood. He became the provider, the boss, the owner of everything. And my mother? She became a poor widow who lived in a rented 2-bedroom apartment with her daughter. The difference was stark. While Raphael renovated the house, changed cars, traveled, my mother counted coins at the end of the month. She worked as a secretary at a municipal school. I made sweets to order on the weekends, brigadeiro, pot cake, lemon pie. I embroidered cushions to sell at the market every Saturday. Every penny counted. Each bill is paid in sweat. I saw her wake up at 5 in the morning, prepare my coffee, pack my uniform, then run to the bus stop. She returned at 7 o'clock at night, tired, but always with a smile. "How was school, my love?" She never complained. He never cried in front of me, but I listened. At night, when she thought I was sleeping, the muffled cry into the pillow, the sound of the cell phone vibrating, messages ignored, bills stacked on the table. And even so, she always brought Raphael gifts, always called. I always asked if he needed anything. "Mom, why do you do this?" I asked, watching her wrap another shirt that she had bought with the money from the cake orders. "He never calls you, never come here. He never asks if we are okay, because he is my stepson, daughter. I raised him since he was little, and family is family." I hated that answer, because for me, family wasn't who carried the same surname. That's who showed up, who cared, and Raphael never cared. I sucked. Things got worse when Raphael got married. His wife, Christina, was worse than him. Cold, arrogant, daughter of a supermarket owner, the kind that looks down on you, even though you're on the same floor. C.R. Istina wore branded clothes. Her nails were always done. Her hair was always tidy. He spoke softly, smile a little, and when he smiled, it was fake. She was jealous of everything. The attention Raphael gave my mother, from the visits we made, of the memories of my father that still existed in the house, photos on the wall, clothes stored, stories told. "That woman wants to cling to our family," I heard her say once when my mother had left the room to get more coffee. I was in the hallway, quiet, listening to everything. She lost her husband, lost her good life, and now she's running after Raphael as if he were obligated to support her and that girl. Raphael didn't respond. He just laughed quietly, agreeing. That broke me. And from then on, everything changed. The visits became colder, shorter, more full of hints. "Helena, don't you think it's time to stop depending on others and build your own life?" Christina said, with that fake smile, while serving an expensive juice in a crystal glass. My mother swallowed hard and changed the subject. "And the girl? Are you studying well? Because without education, you'll end up like your mother." I saw everything. "Shut up," clenching his fists under the table, feeling the blood boil. But my mother just smiled. I would appreciate it. I pretended it didn't hurt. And every time we left there, she became quieter, further away. "Mom, why are we coming back here?" I asked once on the bus, after another humiliating afternoon. "Because one day they will need us, daughter. And when you need me, I want to be close." I didn't understand at the time, but today I understand completely. No, that year, Christmas was going to be different. Or at least, that's what everyone said. Raphael had renovated the entire house. New swimming pool with infinity edge, gourmet barbecue with pizza oven, garden illuminated with LED lights, everything impeccable, everything expensive. The party was going to be big, entire family invited, friends, neighbors, complete supper, turkey, tenders, farafa, desserts, Secret Santa, everything planned. My mother received the invitation by message. No cuddles, no affection, just a dry text in the family group. "Christmas dinner on the 24th, 8 p.m. Everyone brings something to the table. Please confirm your presence." She was so happy when she read it. "Look, daughter, we were invited." She held the cell phone as if it were a prize, the eyes shining. "We're finally going to spend Christmas with our family again. I'm going to make those cookies that Raphael loves, and I'm going to buy you a new outfit. It will be beautiful. You will see." I didn't share the enthusiasm. Something inside me screamed that this was going to go wrong. Christina never did anything without interest. And Raphael only called when he needed something. But she was so excited, so hopeful, so full of life. How could I destroy this? In the following days, my mother worked twice as hard. He took more orders for sweets, made 3 batches of cookies, Belgian chocolate, oatmeal with raisins, caramelized chestnuts. She wrapped each can with red wrapping paper and gold bows. He washed, ironed, and arranged our clothes carefully. He bought me a navy blue dress, simple but beautiful, with a sash at the waist, and for her, a long-sleeved beige blouse with a fake pearl necklace that she had kept for years, an inheritance from my grandmother. "We need to look presentable," she said, looking at herself in the small mirror in the room. Presentable. As if we weren't enough the way we were. She put on lipstick. She tied her hair in a low bun. He put on a cheap but fragrant perfume. I looked at her and thought, my mother is beautiful. More beautiful than Christina, more true, but no one seemed to see that. On the 24th, we left home at 7 in the evening. We took 2 buses. We arrived at Raphael's house at 8:30. The party was already going on. Colorful lights decorated the facade. Loud music was coming from inside. Laughter, voices, smell of roasted meat mixed with barbecue smoke. Cars parked on the street, all new, shiny. My mother rang the doorbell, holding the box of cookies with both hands. The door opened. It was Christina. She was impeccable. Tight red dress, high heels, loose, wavy hair, perfect makeup. He looked at us from top to bottom. It took about 3 seconds, as if evaluating. "Helena." Her voice was pure ice. "What are you doing here?" My mother blinked, confused. "I received the invitation for Christmas." She lifted the box, trying to smile. "I brought the cookies that Raphael likes. I spent the week doing it." Christina crossed her arms. He looked back, as if someone might be watching. "Oh, and about that." She gave a half smile. "False. Cruel. We kind of changed our minds." Silence. My mother stood still. "Me too. Changed. Your mind." Her voice was thin, almost disappearing. "Yeah, the house became small. He had more people than we expected. And since you didn't confirm your presence properly." Christina shrugged, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "We thought you wouldn't come." Lie. My mother had confirmed it. I saw. She sent a message in the group. "Confirmed. We'll be there. Thank you for the invitation." "But I confirmed it." My mother's voice shook. "And can I come in just to say hello? Give the cookies to Raphael? Leave a Merry Christmas hug?" Christina sighed, impatient, as if I was wasting time. "Look, Helena, I don't want to be rude, but today is not a good day. Everyone's busy. The house is full. We'll call you later, okay? Merry Christmas." And before my mother could respond, Christina closed the door. It didn't hit. It just closed. Soft, silent, slowly. But the sound was like an explosion. My mother stayed there. Stop, holding the box. I heard laughter inside, music rising, someone shouting Merry Christmas and toasting with clinking glasses, and us, outside, in the dark, in the heat of the December night. That's when my brother appeared. The door opened again. He came quickly, irritated, with his dress shirt open to the top few buttons and a glass of whiskey in his hand. "Mom, for God's sake," he snorted, looking around to see if anyone was watching. "Don't you understand yet? There's no place for you here. Not at Christmas, not at home, not in our lifetime." The sentence came like a shot. Correct. Mortal. He looked at me, fast, cold, as if I were a piece of furniture, one thing, and not even for her. Then he knocked on the door. The noise echoed throughout the entire street. Absolute silence. Even the crickets stopped singing. My mother didn't cry. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. She just placed the box on the ground near the gate, carefully, as if he was handing over something sacred. He took my hand, and we left. We walked to the bus stop. Neither of them said anything. I wanted to scream. I wanted to go back there and knock on the door. I wanted to swear. I wanted to cry. But my mother was calm, quiet, and I didn't know if that was strength or if she was breaking inside. On the bus, she looked out the window. Her reflection in the glass looked like a ghost. I held her hand the whole time. It was freezing, trembling. When we got home, she went straight to her room. He closed the door, locked. I stayed in the room, alone, looking at the small Christmas tree we had put up. 3 plastic ornaments, a crooked star on top, little lights blinking slowly. And it was there, in that silent and empty night, that I realized something. My mother had received a letter that week, a thick letter, with an official stamp. She put it away quickly when I entered the kitchen, but I saw the sender's name. It was from a law firm, and the next day when she left early, she left an open folder on the dining table. I couldn't resist. I opened it. Inside, there were documents, old contracts, property records, copies of deeds, and everyone was in her name. Helena Ribeiro da Silva, my mom. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept turning over in bed, listening to the heavy silence in the apartment. My mother didn't leave the room, not even for dinner, not for anything. I got up 3 times and put my ear to her door. Silence. Sometimes a sigh, sometimes nothing. And the image of those documents never left my head. Property records, contracts, scriptures, all in her name. Helena Ribeiro da Silva. But how? If she kept saying she had nothing, if we barely had money for rent, it didn't make sense. I needed to understand. The next day, my mother woke up early, earlier than normal. I heard her in the kitchen, making coffee, washing the dishes from the day before. When I left the room, she was sitting at the table with a steaming cup in her hands, looking at the wall, lost. "Good morning, Mother." It took her about 2 seconds to hear me. He turned slowly, smiled weakly. "Good morning, my love." Her voice was hoarse, tired, as if he had been crying all night. I sat next to her. I watched, waiting, wanting to ask a lot of things but not knowing how to start. "Sorry about Christmas last night," she said, stirring her coffee without drinking it. "I promised it would be beautiful, that it was going to be family. It wasn't your fault, Mom." "Yes, it was. I should have known. I should have imagined." She laughed low, bitterly. "But I've always been stupid, right? Always believing that people change, that deep down, there's kindness." I held her hand. "They are the bad ones, not you." She squeezed my hand back, strong, as if he was holding on to me. "You are all I have, daughter. All." And at that moment, I swore to myself I was going to find out what was happening. I would understand those papers. I was going to protect my mother. My mother left for work right after breakfast, and he said he had a meeting at school. I would only return in the afternoon. As soon as the door closed, I went straight to the folder. It was still on the table, open, as if she had left it there without realizing it. I sat down and started reading, slowly, trying to understand. There were 3 main documents. The first was a scripture, from a house, the same house where Rafael lived now, my grandfather's house, and the name on the record, Helena Ribeiro da Silva, my mom. The transfer date, 10 years ago, right after my father died. I read it again and again, thinking I had misunderstood. But no, it was there. Of course, that house wasn't Rafael's. It was my mother's. In the second document was a loan agreement, a strange word that I didn't know. I looked on my cell phone. Lending, free loan of an asset, with obligation to return. My mother had lent the house to Rafael for a specified time, 3 years, but it had already been 4. And in the contract, there was a clause. At the end of the term, the borrower must return the property in perfect condition under penalty of judicial eviction. Eviction. My heart raced. The third document was a list, handwritten, in my mother's handwriting. Properties registered in my name. 1. Casa Rua das Acacias, 4 and 28, where Rafael lives. 2. Centro Apartment, São João Building, rented. 3. Building Materials Store, 40% of shares. 4. Industrial Neighborhood Land, complete deed. I reread that about 10 times. My mother had all this, but how? Why? And why did she live as if she had nothing? I got up and started walking around the room, thinking, trying to put the pieces together. I remembered the day of my grandfather's funeral. I was 9 years old. I was sitting in the church pew with my mother beside me, holding my hand. Rafael was in the first row. crying loudly, hugging Christina, who had just joined the family. After Mass, in the cemetery, my grandfather was buried. Everyone threw flowers. He cried, hugged, and I remember seeing my mother away, alone. Nobody came close, as if she were invisible. "Helena, you shouldn't even be here," an aunt had said, walking past her. "You are no longer part of this family." My mother didn't respond. He just lowered his head and held my hand tighter. But now, thinking about it, why had she gone to the funeral if the whole family hated her? Why had she remained silent during the reading of the will? Why didn't you ever fight? Never complained? Something didn't add up. I spent the whole day thinking about it. When my mother arrived home from work in the afternoon, she was calmer. I brought warm French bread, ham, cheese. We made sandwiches together. We sat on the sofa. We turned on the TV, but I couldn't pay attention. I just looked at her, trying to understand who that woman was, what she hid. Why did he live that way? "Mom," I began slowly, "can I ask you something?" "Of course, daughter." "Why did Grandpa leave everything to Raphael?" She stopped chewing. She stayed quiet. He looked at the TV, but he wasn't seeing anything. "Because he thought it was right. But, and you, and me, didn't we matter?" She sighed. He placed the sandwich on the plate. "It mattered. But your grandfather, he had old ideas. I thought that men are the ones who take care of the family. What woman needs protection?" She smiled sadly. "And after your father died, he thought I didn't deserve anything, that I had failed. But you didn't fail. You loved Daddy." "I know, daughter. But for him it didn't matter." I kept looking at her, trying to read between the lines. "And you never fought about anything?" She looked me in the eyes. It took a few seconds. "I fought. Yes, my way." And he didn't say anything else. That night, when my mother slept, I went back to the folder. This time I looked deeper. There were other rolls, receipts, payment receipts, printed messages, and I found a letter. It was old, yellowish, handwriting, from my grandfather, addressed to my mother. The date? 2 months before he died. "Helen, I know I was hard on you. I know I blamed you for things that weren't your fault. My son died, and I needed someone to share the pain with. You were the easiest target. But the truth is, you were the best thing that happened to him, and for this family. I was wrong. I made a lot of mistakes, so I'm making things right. Everything I built, everything my son helped build, is rightfully yours. Yours and my granddaughter's. The papers are already registered. The house, the apartments, the store, the land, all in your name. Raphael doesn't know. Nobody knows. But you will know at the right time. Use wisely, and forgive this stubborn old man, your father-in-law, who loved you more than he showed." I read that letter shaking. So that was it. My grandfather had left everything to my mother, in secret, without anyone knowing. And she had kept the secret. But why? Over the next few weeks, I started paying attention to everything. When Raphael called, which was rare, I heard the conversations. Always asking for something, always charging. "Mom, I need to borrow some money, only until the end of the month." And my mother always, "Raphael, I don't have it, son. You know I barely pay my bills." Lie. She had, I knew, but she pretended not to. One afternoon, while my mother was working, I received a message on my cell phone. It was from an unknown number. "Hi, I'm Beatrice. I work at your mother's law office. She asked me to give you some documents. Can you pick them up tomorrow after class?" I was confused, but I said yes. The next day, I went to the office. It was small, simple, in an old building in the center. Beatrice was young, about 30 years, friendly. "Your mother is an incredible woman," she said, handing me a thick envelope, "but very stubborn." "Why?" "Because she could have resolved all of this a long time ago, but he insists on waiting for the right moment." She made air quotes. "Since the right moment has passed." "Solve what?" Beatrice looked at me, hesitant. "You know about real estate, right?" I nodded. "So you know that technically, that house where your brother lives belongs to your mother, and the lending period expired more than a year ago. And why doesn't she take it back?" "Because she's afraid. Fear of hurting. Fear of being seen as a villain. Fear of losing what remains of family." Beatrice sighed. "But I warned her. Either she acts quickly, or Raphael will try something worse." "How worse?" "How to try to invalidate the documentation. Inventing false debts. Say she coerced him. These types of people always find a way." My stomach dropped. "And what can I do?" Beatrice smiled, sad. "Convincing your mother to stop being too good." I returned home with the envelope in my backpack. Inside, there were copies of all documents, and an extrajudicial notification is already ready, just waiting for my mother's signature to be sent. The notification was simple. "Rafael Costa da Silva, you are being notified to vacate the property located at Rua das Acacias, 428, within 30 days, under penalty of eviction. 30 days, a month." And Raphael was going to discover the truth. That night, my mother arrived tired. She threw her bag on the sofa, took off her shoes, and went straight to the shower. When he left, he made chamomile tea for both of us. We sat on the small balcony of the apartment, looking at the empty street. "Mom," I began slowly, "why didn't you ever tell anyone about the documents?" She almost dropped the cup. "Did you see?" "I saw, and I talked to Beatrice." She closed her eyes. He took a deep breath. "I wanted to tell you, at the right time." "And when would be the right time?" "When I had the courage." We were silent. "Mom, he humiliated you, in front of everyone. He closed the door in our faces. At Christmas." My voice broke. "And you're still afraid of hurting him?" She looked at me, eyes full of tears. "I have, because I raised him, daughter. I took care of him when his mother abandoned him. I gave food, I gave affection, I gave love, and he was just a scared kid." She wiped away her tears. "But now he's grown up, and he became another person, and I don't know who he is anymore." "Then let him find out who you are." She hugged me, strong, as if he was saying goodbye to something. "It is fine. It's time." 3 days later, my mother signed the notice. Beatrice sent it by post and email, with acknowledgement of receipt. The bomb was armed, and in 72 hours, Raphael received it. I know why he called, screaming, "What is this, Mother? What the fuck is this?" My mom put it on speakerphone, calm, firm. "It's not a joke, Raphael. It's the truth." "What truth? Are you trying to steal my house?" "It's not your house. It never was. It's mine. Your grandfather left it for me, and you know it." Silence on the other side. Then his voice came lower, more dangerous. "You're going to regret this," and hung up. The next day, a letter arrived. It was from Raphael's lawyer. Ownership dispute, allegation of coercion and false documents, request for registration annulment. My mother read it. He folded the letter, put it in the folder. He looked at me. "Now, the war begins." And for the first time, I saw my mother smile. In truth, it wasn't a smile of joy. It was a fight. And I knew Raphael had chosen the wrong person to face, because my mother was no longer that silent woman. She was the owner of everything, and I was ready to try it. The war began silently. In the first few days after the notification, Raphael showed no sign of life, didn't call, didn't send a message, nothing. My mother continued working normally. I left early, came back late, but I saw the tension. The way she checked her cell phone every 5 minutes, how I looked out the window whenever I heard a car passing by. She was waiting for the attack, and he came. One Thursday night, someone rang the doorbell, several times, insistent. My mother was in the kitchen washing the dishes, me in the living room, doing homework. She dried her hands on the cloth, went to the door, looked through the peephole. It locked. "Who is it, Mother?" "Your Aunt Marcia, my father's sister, one of the ones who had turned away at my grandfather's funeral." My mother opened the door slowly. Aunt Marcia came in like a hurricane, without greeting, without asking for permission. "Have you lost your mind, Helena?" She threw her bag on the sofa. "What's this about wanting to get Raphael out of the house?" My mother closed the door. He took a deep breath. "Marcia, that house is mine. It always was." "Your?" Aunt Marcia gave a dry laugh. "You have nothing, Helena. Nothing. You live in a rented apartment working as a secretary. And you want to tell me that you own that mansion? It's not a matter of wanting. It's a fact. It has a document. It has registration." Aunt Marcia crossed her arms. "False documents. Everyone knows you manipulated my father before he died. He was senile, confused. You enjoyed it." "That's not true." "No. So why didn't he ever say anything like this in his lifetime? Why didn't anyone know?" She took a step forward, threatening. "You forged these papers, and you will pay for it." I got up from the table. I went close to my mother. "Get out of here," I said, looking firmly at Aunt Marcia. She laughed, ironic. "Just look, the little daughter defending her mother. How cute." "Marcia, please," my mother said, more firmly now. "Get out of my house. I'm not going to discuss this with you. Yes, you will argue, because Raphael is bringing the whole family together, and we go to court. We will prove that you are a scammer." She picked up her bag, went to the door, stopped, looked back, and in the end, you will be left with nothing, homeless, no respect, no family, just like you always were. And he left, slamming the door. The silence that remained was heavy, suffocating. My mother stood still, looking at the closed door. "Mother?" "It's okay, daughter." She turned to me, trying to smile. "It is good too." But it wasn't. I saw her hand shaking as she reached for the glass of water. The next day, the calls started. Uncles, cousins, people who never called. Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk to my mother, all with the same message. "You're wrong. You'll regret it. Give up on this." My mother hung up without answering, but with each call she grew paler, more tired. At night, when she thought I was sleeping, I would hear her crying in the room, and I didn't know what to do. A week later, a court summons arrived. Raphael had filed a lawsuit to annul the property registration, claiming that my grandfather was mentally compromised when he transferred everything to my mother, that she had taken advantage of a sick, elderly man. My mother read the document at the kitchen table. I was on the side. "He's lying," I said. "Grandpa wasn't sick, but they will try to prove that it was." She folded the paper. That's how it works. When they're not right, they make it up. And are we going to let it? She looked at me, and for the first time I saw anger in her eyes. Real anger. No, we're not going. And my mother scheduled a meeting with Beatrice. I went along. Beatrice called another lawyer, Dr. Fernando, a specialist in family disputes. He was serious. 50-something years old, round glasses. Speak calmly, Helena. They are trying to destabilize you, he said, looking at the documents. But the truth is on your side. His father-in-law was lucid. He registered everything with a notary, with notarization, witnesses, everything correctly. What if they find a doctor who says he was sick? My mother asked. Then we present the real medical report. His father-in-law had a complete checkup 3 months before the transfer. It's all documented. Good blood pressure, clear mind, no signs of dementia. My mother breathed a sigh of relief. But, Dr. Fernando continued, you need to be prepared for what lies ahead. They will try to tarnish your image. They will say that you were a gold digger, that you married for money, that you manipulated your family. They will turn your life around. Let them try. Beatrice smiled. This is the Helena I wanted to see. 2 weeks later, Raphael asked for a family meeting. He sent a message to the group, calling on everyone, uncles, cousins, nephews, everyone. Important meeting, Sunday 3 p.m. at my house. Subject, inheritance and future of the family. Come. My mother showed the message to me. You are going? I asked. I go, but not alone. She took out her cell phone. I'll take Dr. Fernando. Sunday arrived. My mother wore one simple but elegant outfit. Black dress pants, white blouse, flat shoes, hair tied up. No exaggerated makeup. You won't cry, she said to herself, looking in the mirror. You will not lower your head. You are the owner. Remember that. I wanted to go along. She said no. It's dangerous, daughter. I don't know what they're going to do. That's why I need to go. She hesitated. Then he gave in. It is fine, but you stay by my side, all the time. We arrived at the house at 3 sharp. Dr. Fernando was already there, waiting in his car. The house was full. About 15 parked cars. Loud voices coming from inside. My mother rang the doorbell. Christina opened it. He looked at her from top to bottom, then to Dr. Fernando, then for me. Did you bring a lawyer? Serious? She rolled her eyes. How pathetic. Where is the meeting? My mother asked, ignoring the provocation. In the living room. But only you enter. Child and lawyer are left out. Dr. Fernando took a step forward. Article 5 of the Federal Constitution. My client has the right to legal assistance under any circumstances, and her youngest daughter goes wherever she goes. If you want to stop it, the meeting ends now, and we'll see you in court. Christina snorted. It opened up space. Come in quickly. And the room was packed. Uncles, aunts, cousins. Everyone sits, seriously, looking at the door, and in the center, standing, Raphael, arms crossed, as if he owned the world. My mother entered slowly, me and Dr. Fernando in the back. Absolute silence. Look who showed up, Raphael said sarcastically. The owner of truth. My mother didn't respond. He just sat in an empty chair. I sat on the side. Dr. Fernando stood, leaning against the wall. Raphael started to speak. I called everyone here because this situation is unsustainable. He pointed to my mother. This woman is trying to steal what is mine, what my grandfather left me, and I won't allow it. Your grandfather didn't leave you anything, my mother said calmly. He left it for me, and you know it. I know? Raphael laughed. I know you forged documents. He manipulated a sick old man. He stole my inheritance. That's not true. Proof. Dr. Fernando took a folder out of his bag. He placed it on the coffee table. Here. Deed registered at a notary's office. Signature recognition. 2 witnesses. Medical report certifying mental health. Everything within the law. Uncle Marcos, my father's older brother, took the papers. Read. Passed it on to others. The silence grew. That can't be true, Aunt Marcia murmured. It's true, Dr. Fernando said, and any attempt to cancel it will fall apart, because the law is on her side. Raphael slammed his hand on the table. I don't accept this. It's not a question of accepting, my mother said, getting up, firm. It's a matter of respect. Your grandfather made a choice, and you will have to live with that. Choice? He was senile. He wasn't, and you know. My mother stepped forward. You know because he told you himself, 3 months before he died. Remember? At that lunch, Raphael stopped. He told you he would right the wrongs, that he would do justice, and you laughed, said he was joking, that he would never change the will. Silence. But he changed, because he realized who you were. He realized you just wanted the money, who never cared about family. My mother's voice was firm, strong, and he chose to protect those who really loved this family, me, and my daughter. Raphael turned red, breathing heavy. You will pay for this. I am not going, because I didn't do anything wrong. She took my hand. Let's go, daughter. And we left. But before I walked through the door, I heard Uncle Marcos say, Raphael, If this is documented, she's right. And Raphael's voice booming, "Shut up, all of you. This won't stay like this." In the car, returning home, my mother was silent. Dr. Fernando directing, me in the back seat. "You were amazing," I said. She smiled weakly. "I only told the truth. And now we wait. He'll try something else. They always try." And she was right. Because 3 days later, a report appeared on a local blog. Woman accused of forging documents to steal family heirlooms, with photo of my mother, full name, address, and in the comments hundreds of people cursed, calling her a scammer, a profiteer, a thief. Raphael had leaked everything, and now the whole town knew. The report destroyed my mother, not physically, but inside. I saw it. She stopped leaving the house. He requested leave from work. I sat on the porch for hours, staring into space. People on the street whispered when we passed by. At the market, at the bakery, at the bus stop. Everyone knew. That's the woman who stole her stepson's inheritance. What a shame. He took advantage of the old man dying. People like that have no character. I heard everything, and died by tooth row. My mother didn't defend herself. He didn't respond. He just put his head down and followed. "Mom, we have to do something," I said one night, sitting next to her on the couch. "What do you want me to do, daughter?" Her voice was tired, defeated. "They've already decided who I am. It doesn't matter what I say." "Yes, it matters. The truth matters." She smiled sadly. "The truth is not as strong as a lie, my love. The lie is easier to believe." I held her hand. "So we make the truth stronger." And the next day, I called Beatrice, without my mother knowing. "Did she give up?" Beatrice asked, worried. "No, she's just tired. I understand. But we can't stop now. They are gaining ground. What can we do?" Beatrice was silent for a few seconds. "There is one thing, but it's up to you to convince your mother." "What?" "We are going to hold a public hearing at the city council, an open debate about inheritances and family manipulation. And your mother will talk, in front of everyone." My heart raced. She will never accept this. Then you need to make her accept it. Because if we don't change the narrative now, it will lose everything, including dignity. It took me 3 days to convince my mother. 3 days of conversations, of crying, of arguments. "I can't do it, daughter. I can't stand in front of everyone and tell my life." "You don't need to tell your life. You just need to tell the truth." "What if no one believes? And if they believe?" She kept looking at me, tired, scared, but with a spark of hope in his eyes. "It is fine. I go." And the hearing was scheduled for a Thursday night, at the city hall, open to the public. Dr. Fernando prepared everything. Presentations, documents, timeline. He was going to speak first, explain the facts, show the evidence. Afterwards, my mother would speak. On the night of the hearing, my mother spent an hour in front of the mirror. He wore a simple outfit, black pants, white blouse, tied up her hair, no heavy makeup. "How am I?" she asked, unsure. "Beautiful and strong." She smiled, nervous. "I don't feel strong, but you are. You always were." We arrived at the chamber at 7 in the evening. The hall was full. There were people from all over, neighbors, acquaintances, church people, and of course Raphael, Christina, and the whole family. They were sitting in the first few rows, as if they were the victims. My mother stopped at the entrance. He looked at that crowd. He took a deep breath. "I don't know if I can." "You can do it," I said, holding her hand. "I'm here, all the time." She shook my hand, and he entered. Dr. Fernando opened the hearing, explained the case. He showed the documents. He read my grandfather's letter, presented the medical report, the witnesses, registration at a notary's office, everything detailed, everything clear. When he finished, a heavy silence took over the room. Then, it was Raphael's turn. He got up. He fixed his suit. He looked at the audience as if he were a politician. "I understand that you are looking at documents, papers, stamps." He spoke in a calm, controlled voice. "But documents can be forged, especially when there is financial interest involved." Some in the audience nodded in agreement. My grandfather was an old man, sick, fragile, and this woman, he pointed to my mother, took advantage of that, manipulated him, convinced him to sign things he didn't understand. My mother squeezed my fingers tightly, and now she wants to get me out of my house, the house I renovated, where I built my life, where I planned to raise my family. He paused dramatically. "This is not justice, it's cruelty." Some people applauded. I felt my stomach drop. Well, it's my mother's turn. She stood up slowly. He climbed onto the small platform. She stood in front of the microphone. Absolute silence. She looked at the audience, then to Raphael, then for me, and he started talking. "My name is Helena Ribeiro da Silva. I'm 46 years old. I am a widow, mother, school secretary, and yes, I own the house where Raphael lives." Her voice shook at first, but it became firmer. "When my husband died, I lost everything. I lost my companion, my love, my security, and along with him, I lost the respect of his family." She paused, "because for them, I was always the intruder. The woman who stole their son, even after 15 years of marriage. Some people in the audience looked down, uncomfortable. My father-in-law, before he died, called me for a talk. He apologized. He said it had been unfair. He said he wanted to make things right. And he passed on to me everything that was my late husband's right. She took a deep breath. It wasn't manipulation. It was justice. Raphael snorted loudly. Lie. My mother V went to him. It's not a lie, Raphael. And you know, because you were there, that lunch, 3 months before your grandfather died, when he said he was going to change things, and you laughed, said he would never have the courage. Silence. But he did. Because he realized that I was the only one who really cared for him, who visited, who carried food, who called every day, while you only showed up when you needed money. Raphael turned red. That's not true. And yes, and everyone here knows. My mother looked at the audience. Family is not the one who shouts the loudest. It's not who makes the most drama. Family is who shows up, who cares, who stays. And I stayed, even when they humiliated me, even when they kicked me out, even when they closed the door in my face one Christmas. The silence was now absolute. I don't want to take anyone out of any place out of spite. I just want what's mine, what belongs to my daughter, because this inheritance is not just a piece of paper. It is the recognition of everything I suffered, of everything I endured, of everything I built. She paused. He looked at me. And I will fight for it, because my daughter deserves to see that dignity is not about lowering your head. It's getting up and follow. Applause began, shy at first, then stronger, higher. I cried. My mother came down from the podium. It came to me. He hugged me, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like we were going to win. But Raphael didn't accept it. When the hearing ended, he came to us. Christina next door, red face, eyes full of hate. Do you think you won? He spat out the words. You didn't win anything. Raphael, stop, my mother said, tired. I won't stop, he shouted. People around stopped to watch. You humiliated me, in front of everyone, and you will pay for it. That's enough. Dr. Fernando placed himself between them. Get out of the way. Raphael, go away, before I call the police. Christina pulled Raphael by the arm. Let's go. It's not worth it here. But before leaving, Raphael turned to my mother. You won't have that house, even if I have to burn her to the ground, and left. Dr. Fernando looked at my mother. That was a threat. We need to register. No, my mother said. He's angry. Just that. Helena, I just want to go home. In the following days, things began to change. The defamatory report was taken down. The blog apologized. People started calling, asking for forgiveness, saying that they had judged without knowing it. And the process? Raphael withdrew the annulment action. His lawyer said there was no legal basis. My mother had won, but the victory had a bitter taste, because she knew. Raphael wasn't going to give up like that, and she was right. Then 2 weeks later, on a Friday night, the phone rang. It was an unknown number. My mother answered. Hello? Silence. Then, a voice, stuffed, distorted. You should have given up. Who is it? Now it's too late. And hung up. My mother turned pale. Mom, what happened? Nothing, daughter. Trot. But it wasn't. Because the next morning, a subpoena arrived. Raphael had filed an emergency eviction request, claiming that my mother was putting his family at risk, that she was unstable, dangerous, and he attached as proof the recording of the call from the previous night, forged, mounted, false, but convincing. Dr. Fernando read the document in disbelief. They're making this up. It's obvious. But will the judge believe it? My mother asked. It depends. If they present witnesses, if they apply pressure, what do I do? Dr. Fernando looked into her eyes. You stop being afraid, and it goes until the end. Because now it's not just about the house. It's about your reputation, your life. My mother looked at me. Are you ready, daughter? I was born ready. She smiled. Then let's finish this. The court hearing was scheduled for 10 days later, but before that, something happened. Something no one expected. My mother received a call from Uncle Marcos. Helena, I need to tell you something. What? Raphael is planning something. Something big. Like this? He wants to have a party, a great Christmas, in the house, and invite everyone, to prove that he is the real owner, that he has the support of his family. My mother was silent. And why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of lies. His voice shook. My father loved you, Helena. I know he did the right thing, and I won't be on the wrong side anymore. Thank you, Marcos. There's more. The party is tomorrow, Christmas Eve, and he didn't invite you, obviously. My mother hung up. He kept looking at his cell phone. What are you going to do, Mom? She got up. He looked out the window, then for me, and smiled. Not a sad smile. A smile of someone who had a plan. I'll show up. But Christmas Eve, 7 in the evening. My mother got ready. Simple red dress, loose hair, lipstick, low jump. I put on my blue dress. Are you sure about this, Mom? Absolute certainty. We took an Uber. We arrived at the house at 8. It was full. Music, lights, laughter, food smell. My mother rang the doorbell. Christina opened it. He almost fell backwards. "What are you doing here?" "I came to my house," my mother said calmly. "This is not your house." "And yes, and you know." Raphael appeared behind Christina. "Are you crazy? Get out of here." My mother didn't move. "No, I'm not leaving, because this is my house, and if there's a Christmas party here, I'll be there." She pushed the door and entered. I followed. The room fell silent. Everyone stopped, looking. My mother went to the center. He looked at everyone. "Good night, Merry Christmas," and smiled. My mother was in the center of the room. Everyone looking, shocked, mouths open. Raphael turned red. Christina, pale. "Good night," my mother repeated calmly. "Merry Christmas, everyone." Uncle Marcos was the first to react. He got up from the sofa and came to her. "Helena," he smiled, hugged her. "I'm glad you came." Raphael exploded. "Marcos, what are you doing?" Which I should have done a long time ago, staying on the right side. Others began to rise. Cousins, aunts, some greeting my mother, others just watched, uncomfortable. Christina tried to intervene. "Guys, please, this woman was not invited. She's invading our house." "Our?" My mother turned to her firmly. "This is not your house, Christina. It never was. It's mine, and it always has been. You can't prove that." "I can, yes." My mother took an envelope out of her bag, big, full of papers. Here, scripture, updated registry, certificate of ownership, all in my name. She threw it on the coffee table. "And what's more, the lending period expired more than a year ago. You are living here illegally." Absolute silence. Raphael went forward, took the papers, read them. It ripped. "This is worth nothing. Tear as much as you like," my mother said calmly. "I have a certified copy. At the registry office, in the lawyer's office, and with the judge." Dr. Fernando appeared at the door. He had stood outside waiting for the right moment. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Dona Helena's lawyer, and I came to officially notify you. This property has been returned to the rightful owner. From today onwards, any unauthorized stay will be considered possessory plunder." Raphael turned white. "Rubble? What?" "Trespassing. Crime. Liable for arrest." Dr. Fernando crossed his arms. "Then I suggest that you, your wife, and your belongings vacate the property. Today." "Today?" Christina shouted. "This is Christmas. Where are we going?" "Your problem," my mother said calmly. "You had a year and a half to leave. I warned you. I notified. I gave chances. You chose to ignore." Raphael was breathing heavily, eyes full of hate. You planned this." "I planned it." My mother smiled, small but true. "Because you taught me something, Raphael. Limitless kindness becomes weakness, and I'm tired of being weak." She looked at everyone in the room. "Whoever wants to stay, stay. The party continues, but under my rules, at home." Uncle Marcos was the first to applaud, slowly, then others, not all, but many. Raphael looked around. He realized he was losing. He took Christina by the arm. "Let's go." "But Raphael," I said, "let's go." And they left, slamming the door for the last time. So the party continued, but now it was different, lighter, more true. My mother went to the kitchen. He opened the refrigerator. The table was set. Turkey, farofa, rice, desserts. "Shall we eat?" she said, smiling, and everyone sat down. Some are still confused, others relieved, but everyone there. I sat next to my mother. I held her hand under the table. "You did it, Mom. We did it, daughter." And in that moment, I understood everything. I understood why she had waited. Why had he endured it? Because I had planned in silence. Because she didn't just want her house back. She wanted dignity, respect, justice, and she did it. In the following days, a lot happened. Raphael tried to file a claim for repossession. It was denied. The judge was clear. There is no claimant's right to the property. He tried to claim benefactors. He said he had renovated the house, invested money. He asked for compensation. Dr. Fernando presented evidence. Raphael had used money from the store, which also belonged to my mother, her money, to renovate her house. The judge denied it again. Raphael lost everything. The house, the morals, family respect. Christina filed for divorce. It turned out that he had hidden debts, loans, bad checks. What about the building material store? My mother took over management, with Uncle Marcos helping. Within 3 months, the business was making a profit again. Then my mother didn't stay in the big house. She rented it for a young family with 3 children who needed a safe place. "Why don't you stay, Mom?" I asked. "The house is yours." "Because I don't need her to prove who I am," she smiled, "and that family needs it more than me." We stayed in the small apartment, but now, with money left over, bills paid, security, my mother went back to work at the school. Not because I needed to, but because he loved it. And on vacation we traveled, for the first time. Beach, simple hotel, but ours. I saw my mother laugh, in truth, weightless, no fear, and I realized she had won. 6 months later, Raphael appeared. The apartment bell rang. My mother answered. He was different, slimmer, unshaven, sunken eyes. "Helena, can I come in?" My mother hesitated. He looked at me. I shrugged. It was her decision. She opened the door. Raphael entered. He sat on the sofa. He kept looking at the floor. I came to apologize. Silence. I know I don't deserve it. I know I was terrible, cruel, unfair. He cleared his throat. But I wanted you to know. My grandfather was right. You were the right person. My mother was quiet, just listening. I lost everything. Christina, the house, the store, even the family. And I realize now, I never really had anything. Because everything I had, I stole from you. He looked at her, the red eyes. Can you forgive me? My mother took a deep breath. I already forgave, Raphael. Not for you, but for me. Because holding on to anger only hurts me. He lowered his head. Thanks. But forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, nor rebuild. She got up. You made your choices. Now he lives with them. Raphael nodded. He got up. He went to the door. It stopped. He looked back. You are stronger than I will ever be. And he left. That today, 6 years after that Christmas Eve, I am 22 years old. I'm in college. Right. Inspired by my mother's struggle. She continues working. Keep taking care of the store. Continue to be this incredible woman who never gives up. And whenever someone asks me about my childhood, I tell them this story. The story of a woman who was humiliated, rejected, expelled from his own family. But he got up. He fought. And he won. Because she taught me something I will never forget. Dignity is not about never falling. It's getting up every time they knock you down. I was 13 when I was excluded from Christmas by my brother. He said there was no place for my mother. But that night, she opened the doors of her own mansion and welcomed everyone. And I saw the power of dignity in the face of rejection. I saw that you don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to hit to be strong. You don't need to take revenge to win. You just need to know who you are. And never, ever bow your head. My mother taught me this. And today, I teach it to everyone who crosses my path. A week ago, I went back to that house. The family that rents it lives there to this day. The children were playing in the yard, laughing out loud, happy. And I thought, that's it. That's what houses are for. To shelter love, not pride. My mother was with me. We looked through the railing. Do you regret anything? I asked. She thought for a few seconds. For not having fought before, but not the result. Because in the end, it was all worth it. Why? She looked at me, smiled. Because you learned. And you will teach your children, and they will teach their children. She held my hand. We break the cycle. We change history. And at that moment, under the hot December sun, I understood. My mother's victory wasn't just over Raphael. It was about everything she carried. All pain, all fear, all shame. She broke free and freed me together. Well, it's tonight. Let's have dinner together. Me, my mother, Uncle Marcos, and some cousins who reconnected. Let's make a simple supper. Rice, chicken, farofa, salad. Nothing luxurious, but full of love. And when I look at the table, I will remember that night, 6 years ago, when everything started to change, when my mother stopped being a victim, and she became a heroine, the heroine of our story. If you're reading this or listening, and you're going through something similar, I want to tell you something. Don't give up. It doesn't matter how many doors they close in your face. How many times do they humiliate you? How many times have you been told that you're not good enough? You are. And one day, you will have your own redemption story. Your own Christmas Eve where everything turns around. And when that day comes, you will remember, dignity is not asked for, it is conquered. And you are stronger than you imagine. My mother is in the kitchen now, making coffee, humming softly I look at her, and I smile. Because this woman, who lost everything and rebuilt it from scratch, is the reason I believe in happy endings. Not fairy tale endings, but the real endings, where you fight, cry, fall, but get up. And in the end, he wins. Not because he defeated someone, but because he found himself, and that no one can take away. Meeting and you? Have you ever been through a similar situation? Have you ever seen someone close to you being wronged and then getting back up? Tell us here in the comments. I read them all, and believe me, your story can inspire someone who needs it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to me, for listening to my mother, for being part of this journey. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share this story with those who need to hear that. Yes, you can win. Because together we are stronger. A hug, and see you in the next story.